All right, good morning again, everybody. We are going to go through building our watch list this morning, our swing trade watch list. Um, right now, I think everything is kind of in limbo right now with everything that's come out this weekend dealing with the trade and, what's happening with NATO. I think there's going to be a lot of indecision when the market opens. Um, and that has me concerned because with my Facebook swing, it will, if it doesn't have a catalyst working on it, it typically follows the spot. And there's a good possibility that we can get a gap down once the SPY starts trading again, early tomorrow morning. So that's kind of got me concerned a little bit. But we just have to wait and see how everything gets digested. I think I should have taken my ad off and locked in, that profit on Friday, but I decided not to do that at the end of the day. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me. So let's take a look at the SPY first. Because what the market does pretty much drives everything that we do. My strategy, since my swing strategies are 1000% long, the market really plays a big role in whether I get the moves in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And obviously, I'm looking for things to move and mature in a couple of days. But sometimes it does take a couple of weeks. Like this Facebook trade is probably going to take a couple of weeks, like the PLNT trade took, which I don't like. I don't like to be exposed that long. But if that's what it takes, that's what I have to do. But you could see, here's the descending resistance right here. And, we kind of got over that last week. Then we dipped back below it, but we worked our way through it. We finally cracked it. We established over it. And now we're running into some more resistance right here, right around 280. And, we've got to make it through there. So we'll see going into next week. Are we going to get slapped back? And will this hold as support? Or is this thing coming back in? So my plan is, if we're looking at a major sell-off, I'm just gonna get out as soon as and as quickly as I can on that Facebook swing. It hopefully it won't. If it does sell off, hopefully it won't sell off so much that I can't, have any profit on it. But I'm just concerned. We're running into resistance here, plus all of that bad news, or and we interpret it as bad news, but it's all going to depend on how the market interprets it. Now, if they don't interpret it as bad news and the market gaps up, we have to play it. So I don't like to really anticipate so much. I just like to wait and see what's going to happen. I have my thoughts and I read the news and have everything, but really I don't react until I see what's going on and how the market interprets things. So that's what I'm going to be looking at going forward. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to be out of commission. So After the open, I won't have any, well, really, after 8 o'clock, I won't have any access. So whatever happens, I'm going to have to make the moves before 8 o'clock. And, after 8, it's doubtful that you'll hear from me tomorrow at all. So, we'll see. But the room will be open, and, I will cut the scans on and let them run. I'll have to put everything on one screen, because nobody will be there to switch back and forth. Kind of like what I did on vacation, but, we'll see going forward, how this thing works out. Alright, so let's look at our screeners here. Let's take a look at oversold. Okay, so we don't have any that's below 20. That's ideal. If we find a stock that's oversold off, under 20, they're usually, that's going to give us a real good opportunity here. But we don't have any because the market's really not selling off. So we'll go to 30, our under 30 scan, and we've got two here, AVGO and OZRK. Now, AVGO, some members traded this on Friday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday we were looking at it early for a potential, all day hold, but it was selling off so bad. I never got a bounce pre-market, so never got a chance to get in. This is one of those rare instances where chasing would have paid off, but you don't want to, get into that habit because the odds aren't against you if you chase. So no, I didn't chase it down, but we had several members did catch it, did catch this sell off, but it turned around and ended up closing green on the day. And then, kind of Friday, we opened, got a little bump, and it sold off. Huge move. Picked up $7 to the downside. So it was huge. So we had members catch it both days. But this is not a good setup for the oversold hook. The one I'm looking at here is OZRK. Now, I won't trade this because I don't trade financial stocks, but this is a good setup. This is the setup that we like to see, where, we have this huge emotional sell-off on, what was it, on earnings. And we let, over emotion and all of that, we take that into consideration and we look for it to snap back. Potentially, it can pull back to this descending resistance. That would be our goal. But, we have to wait for it to set up. This could sell off for another day or two. But if the setup stays clean, we ought to get a pretty decent bounce out of this. But again, this is not one that I would trade because I don't like trading financial stocks. It's more of a personal preference, but it's not a rule. It's not a law. There are a lot of people that trade these, just like the oil stocks. I don't like trading those, but a lot of people do. On the precious metals, same way. I just don't, it's something that I developed as I was growing as a trader. Who knows, it may change later on down the road, but right now that's where I'm at. So not going to put any of these on my watch today. Don't really like it, any of these two. Plus the market is not really receptive right now to the oversold. We need a hard pullback and then a bounce. Because remember, when the SPY was, when the market was selling off here and we started to get that bounce, this is where we saw all of the oversold opportunities, right in here. We had a lot that were oversold on this market sell off a little bit. And on the bounce, we were able to catch, some good oversold moves. But right now, the market is not receptive to it. So you have to really look at what cycle this market is in. If you don't know, remember what I'm talking about in trying understanding the market cycles, then just watch the first swing trade class video, because you can see what phase we're in here. We came back to phase one, and phase one is where you can catch a lot of oversold because you've had a pullback. You've got some stocks that are probably oversold. Um, emotion came in when the market overselling, people was dumping it, and it might have had some bad news. It just got grossly oversold, and this is where we catch the bounce in phase two. So right now, excuse me, we may be coming into phase three. So right now it's time, let's sit on our hands and wait and see what the market's going to do next week. That's kind of what we have to do. Let's look at the 20 EMA crossover. See, we have 7 of those. So let's take a look here. This one, ETSY, not really sold on here, but we are grinding up. So this will be worth a watch. I'm not sold on it yet, but this will be worth a watch. So let's take a closer look at this. Here's 52-week high right here. So we need a hold. Here's the 20 EMA right here. This is the 20 EMA. So we still can pull back to this. It may hold the SMA, and I have both up here because this thing switches back and forth. The 20 EMA holds a lot, is king for a while. Then we go back to the SMA, the EMA, the SMA. So I kind of got both here for reference. The light line here is the EMA. The solid line here is the SMA, and this is what we're reacting to right now is the SMA, because the scanner has a SMA crossover, not the EMA. So we're looking for it potentially to bounce here. We've got the 52-week high that we put in. Here we tried to get back up to it. It failed. So this causes concern. This is a lower high. Okay, we put in a slightly lower low on this bounce. We put in a lower high on this bounce. So this is not an A plus setup. Even though it's looking good, it looks like we're grinding up. We're actually trading sideways in this channel right here. Uh-oh. So, you know, this takes extreme caution. Now, getting in this, the 20 EMA I like because we can get in this prior to a 52-week high break, which is the next strategy that we look at. If we get in early, we can pick up a couple more points of profit, or actually take profit on the break. And then when we hold the break, we can add back and, be ready for, the move beyond 52-week high. So, that's always a good thing. So that's why I like this strategy. But a lot of times, we may run into it having trouble breaking out. And that's what we had with Facebook here. You can see I got it I didn't catch it here. And you can see how lucrative it would have been if I had caught this on the 20 EMA break. If I'd have got it in here. No, but I didn't. I caught it, tried to catch it on the 52-week high break. I didn't wait for it to hold, unfortunately. So I had to withstand this pullback. And so you could see how much more profit I would have made. If I'd have got in here on this day, I could have taken profit here on the break of the 52-week high. Locked in profit and then added back on the hold. So, that's kind of an example of what I'm talking about here. So let's get back to the screener. So we're gonna do 20 EMA crossover. So what I like to see now, sometimes we'll have 20 stocks show up on this. So what I like to do is I'm only looking for stocks in an uptrend and stocks that look like they're going to give us a good potential move. Okay, it's oil and gas. I don't trade it, but you can see how nappy this chart, how ugly this chart is. It is trending up, but it's not an ideal chart. We don't have any explosive move potential. So not look not liking it. Um, OCC, see it's in a downtrend. OC is in a downtrend, so no go there. Pinnacle Foods, we'll come back to that in a minute. SCG, this is one I have in my long term because I'm looking for this company to go bankrupt. But I have been taking profit on this, ever since back in October when this news came out. I've been working this thing, working it. So I'm still holding a little position on this, waiting to see, but have banked on this. But this is in a downtrend still, even though we made this big move up. What's happening is um I just got a brain fart. I can't remember the company. DYN, I believe. That's looking to buy it out. It's another utility company, but that utility company isn't as healthy as it makes itself out to be. But they're spending a ton of money on advertising, um, trying to get the general public to support this merger. It still has to be approved through our state legislature. So, and that's going to be a tough process. But they're trying to get the people behind it. And that's where, over the last couple of months, there's been a big media push. But I can't believe I had a brain fart. Because SCG is a local company in South Carolina. Actually, it's based in Columbia or West Columbia, but it's right in my back door. Um, TPX is starting to make a move up, but it's an ugly chart. This isn't ideal. Winston, don't tear up my shoes. Um, and WLL, this is another oil and gas, and you can see this thing has been trending up, trending up. This was a good long term, something good for your long term portfolio, but short term, it doesn't really give. Let me make it bigger. It doesn't really give these big explosive moves to where we can make a decent profit in the course of a couple of days. Here was a nice bounce. Here was a nice bounce. We're pulling back on this. This could potentially bounce up to 60 and retest this level this time. Because even though we made a lower high here, we did make a higher low. We're holding this ascending support. And, this is what a lot of traders do. They buy on support and they sell into resistance. They find a stock that's trending like this, and that's what they do. Once they break trend, they're done with it. They move on. So this has potential to bounce and make that move up, but it's a oil and excuse me, oil and gas stock, so I stay away from it. Okay, PF, this one, um, ordinarily, I wouldn't like it because you can see we don't really make huge moves on this. I think the ATR on it's like $1. But whenever I see a stock that only gained 1 cent, and over the last couple of days it hasn't really done much as it relates to its ATR, I tend to stay away from it. But the ATR really means the actual range. This just tells us where it closed in relation to where it opened. Doesn't really tell us the range of the stock. But then you could come back and let's look at the daily chart on PF. So we look at the daily chart on PF. The range let's see, what was the range? The range was only 36 cents. The day before, the range was 37. The day before that, 21. The day before that, 32. And this has an ATR of $1 right now because of these huge moves here. So I want to put this on watch because of the potential explosive move that it's made in the last month. I would want to get in and look for one of these moves because look, you could look at this one. This move 5 points. It had a range of $6.40, but you had a 5 point profit potential on it. This candle moved $4.90, but you had a 4 point profit potential on this. So this is what has me interested in this stock. And maybe this thing could go. So we'll keep. Let's. I need my pen so I can write this down. Winston, you chewed my book. see. Okay, so I didn't have any watches on the oversold. Well, I did. Hold on, oversold watch. Got to catch up with myself here. I mean, I didn't have any that for my personal trading watch, but I know the Bank of the Ozarks was one that we were looking at. So we'll look at PF and ETSY. These are, I don't think they're A plus watches, but they do have the setup. ETSY, I think if we can get through this resistance here, we're gonna be fine. We can, make a decent run up. W and PF, I'm just watching it to see if we can get an explosive move like this. But you got to look at what's happened here and don't sit here and hold it if you get this profit. You want to take it. No, this is enough percentage points for it to make sense. If you do get another move like this. Alright, so let's go to our last screener, which is going to be 52-week high, and this is where we get most of our hits. Yeah, like hit 38. And remember, I'm going to go through this quick because I'm only looking for stocks that have um, that are retesting its 52-week high after it's done it, within the last couple of weeks. So if I find a stock, I'll let you know. Okay, see here, this was too long of a pullback, but this is Amazon anyway. There's no way in the world I can trade that. Um, this one's already gone. We would have had to catch it back up in here. This is already gone. This is already broken out. Here, this one never really does much, in terms of my watches. Alright, so we come down here to BRMN. This one's already gone. CNC is already gone. COP, this is oil and gas. So I just dismiss it. Um, COST, this one's already gone, but let's take a look at it. I'm gonna tell you, this is exactly what we look for here. We had a ascending support here. That it broke. Ascending support here that it broke through. I mean resistance. And here was a 52-week high. So this is one that did the 20 EMA cross. See right here? This would have hit the scan. The 20 EMA cross could have been in it. Down here, let's say from 210, and caught some right here when we got here around 212.50, and then get back in on the break. So this is the first day. Friday was the first day of the break. So this one theoretically is still in play. This one is still in play because we've only got through the first day, and if we can catch it, we do have some more room to the upside on this. Once we break through it. Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong candle. I thought it was this. So yeah, this is too far gone. If we would have been able to catch it this day, we would have been fine. But it's too far gone. Yep, my bad. I didn't have it over far enough. So that one's a little bit too far gone. Let's take a look at EA. Alright, so EA, this one will be good to watch. Let me scratch out COST. This could be good to watch. Alright, so this was our 52-week high prior to the pullback. Prior to this pullback. And this is what we like to see, pull back to the 20. It hold, and now we're off and running on the break. Okay, this candle did not give us that huge push we're looking for. So it can set up and give us an entry. Now, had we closed up here, 2 points away from where we are now, we'd be done. This is giving us another opportunity that if it does open strong and gives us a push, we can catch the breakout, potentially up to around 155 or so. But this is exactly what we're looking for on these stocks. Put in the 52-week high, pull back, hold the 20, and give us that move. But here we came up and tapped it again and pulled back before we got that big move. There are this the way this strategy works theoretically is supposed to protect us from false breakouts. That's why I like to watch it first, let it pull back, and then I'm looking for that second break. And in this case, this is the third attempt, and it did gap over it. So we'll keep that one on watch. And see, once you get good at these, I mean, you could actually go through 50 of these in a couple of minutes, and all you're doing is just watching. You're just looking for that pattern that you like. Okay, so here's Facebook. We're already in it. Still holding it. These are out of my price range. Okay, I has been on our scans, day trading scans for a couple of days. You can see these huge moves up. We're not overbought yet, but this isn't an ideal setup for me. This, I believe, has limited upside potential based on what it's done here. So I'll be looking for a pullback. Um, Obviously ISRG is gone. This is out of our price range. LLY is gone. Um, yep, LYV is gone too. All right, so Microsoft is hitting. It just cleared this overhead resistance. Um, I don't know how much more to the upside this has got. It's not really interested in this, but this is a good, but this is a good chart to look at. Oh no, it came from back here. I'm sorry. This is where it came from right here. It won't stay. There we go. So it did break over this ascending resistance. Here was the previous 52-week high right here. So you can see we're two candles out of the previous 52-week high break. So that's a little bit too much for me. That's too far gone. So no dice on that. Nope, nope. And here's our old buddy PLNT. You can see it did break back over this, but we're running into this ascending resistance, which it slapped it down the last couple of times. So that one's out of sorts. Okay, RPM. All right, so I like this. It's over. It's moved over, but the RSI is too high. This is a chart that I really like. This is a pattern that really looks good. Here was the previous 52-week high right here. We had a pullback for a couple of days. Now we're setting up to break it, but the RSI is too high. I don't like it that high, so I have to pass on it. But this is exactly the setup I like. Exactly the setup where we push up, we pull back, and we look for that next the strong break. Um, just don't see much this week. Don't see many ideal setups right now. But remember, you can scan for this all week. You can scan every day. I don't scan every day because swing trading is my part-time gig. So I set my watch list in the morning, but on Sundays. But what we do and what I do every Sunday, you can do every day. If you want to focus on swing trading, you can do this every day. And you can find the perfect setup a lot of times you can find that perfect setup that next day, or maybe Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday. And see, a lot of these already hit the scan. Like VRTX, this was on our scan a couple weeks ago. And this would have hit your scan if you were scanning every day. These things would have hit it. Let me see, TSS. No, this one needs some more work. I think this one needs some more. Because see, the last time it hit 52-week high was back here. So this needs to pull back and make another run at this. Yeah, because the key is not to force these things. Don't force a setup. If it's not there, if it's not clean, don't force it. Just come back and scan the next day. You'll find them because we see these every week. When we run this scan, we see where they broke out, and a lot of these have made 52-week highs, and it's been running for a couple of days when it gives us the perfect setup. All right, so I've only got three stocks that I'm watching. I may not get to trade them, but these ones I be on my watch. ETSY and PF for the 20 EMA cross strategy or setup, and EA for the 52-week high. And I really believe um, by Tuesday you're gonna have some real fresh setups coming by Tuesday or Wednesday. If you scan every day. All right, guys. So you have any questions about today? Yep. Hopefully I covered everything. All right. Thank you. I hope so too. Yep. I'm in. We had a family get together yesterday up here in North Carolina, so I'm still up here. But we'll be heading back today. Yep, but I'll have everything set up in the morning before I take off. All right, you're welcome, guys. I'm gonna stop the video now and get it uploaded, and then we can do any questions you may have.